Welcome to the Loonie Lineup Podcast with your hosts, Colby Honey Badger Jolly and Mike the Wolf Young.
What's up, lunatics, and welcome back to another episode of the Loonie Lineup Podcast. And let me start off by saying, we're back, baby. Week 1 has officially gone off. We got it going.
So back.
We are so back. Fantasy's here. Life's good. It's just the best time of the year, at least in my opinion.
It was an absolutely beautiful weekend.
It was
absolutely beautiful.
Glorious for so many reasons. I have to say there's been some incredible games this weekend. Some games that definitely threw me for a spin. For those of you watching online, you can see our money line and spread picks and records right now. And unfortunately, Colby's beating me in the money line right now. I had a bad week to start, but hey, it's week 1. We're still learning what's going to happen this year. So,
yeah, week 1's always the hardest week to bet on by far.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those ones where there's only so much research, only so much things you can read, hear, watch, and I think that's going to give you any inkling as to what's actually going to happen this year. So we went with what we had, went with our guts for the most part, I'd say. And that's where we're sitting right now. We'll get into more betting later in the episode here, but I think we kind of want to talk about what just happened this last weekend. Any standout things you want to start us off with here, Badger?
Yeah, I think there's, numerous points to make, but one that is going to be the conversation for probably the next 3 to 4 weeks is Miami Dolphins. That was an atrocious showing. I was all over them dumping on your Colts, and they looked bad.
Yep.
Their play calling was bad. Execution, Tua didn't look good. They were getting swallowed. Now, Indy had a really good game. They definitely overachieved. I don't think anybody in the world would have put money on Danny Dimes, having the game he did. He looked amazing. That was the Danny Dimes that got paid and got him that big deal.
Exactly.
And on a new team, it was a major surprise. So, I mean, to be honest, I'm kind of happy for him. The guy just under scrutiny all the time. But, Miami is in big trouble. I think that if there's any interesting bet to place, it'd be Mike McDaniels being the first guy to get canned this year.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they did not look good. When I was watching the game, there was a lot of it was hard. It was hard for me in the sense where at the beginning of it, I was not an Indiana Jones fan. I didn't think that he was the guy. I thought they were making a mistake sitting Richardson for a little bit longer. I think I've been pretty vocal about that. But he blew my expectations way above the water.
How many of these guys do you think are like these coaches and management that are going like, we told you, we're right?
Exactly. It's one of those I told you so. It's the one that Jerry Jones was hoping for that didn't happen. So it was a blowout. Everything, I think Indy was firing on all cylinders. Everything looked
100%.
Good. They were making the right play calls, and
Tyler Warren looked fantastic.
He looked incredible. He was the missing piece of the puzzle, it looks like, as long as the accuracy stays up. And, breaking a record for the only team in Super Bowl era, or at least in the last couple decades, I can't remember the exact stat, to score on every single drive they had the ball.
I saw that.
So I have to take up my hat to the Colts there. They did phenomenal. Yeah. They blew my expectations out of the water. I've been very hesitant about them for a lot of this offseason and everything.
I heard a couple rumors this weekend, or I should say in the last couple days, that Tyreek Hill's going to be on the block here any second. Yeah. It feels like. There was rumors that Kansas City has reached out to him following their game because of their wide receiver room's been depleted with Rice out, and now Worthy's hurt, and
they need a lot of help at receiver. So
they need help at receiver. He knows the system. Like it kind of makes sense.
Imagine having the speed.
It can't be worse than.
Imagine having the speed of Xavier Worthy as well as Tyreek Hill with Kansas City now.
Yeah, and then that big body Rice.
Yeah,
right. So like that. Yeah, it makes sense. I think the guy needs a clear change of scenery. Get out of Miami.
He's miserable there. It's the worst thing that he could have done.
We all hoped that this could be like the first week where maybe he comes back week 1 and shows us that he's still got it.
Yeah.
Kind of like Derrick Henry.
Yeah, Derrick Henry did just that. No, Derrick Henry.
How do we keep doubting this guy?
I haven't. I don't think I can.
I haven't either.
Yeah,
But
like I've even heard like little like, oh, he's old, he's 31, blah blah blah. It's
he's a different player.
He takes this job so seriously. His offseason workouts are insane. Like there's players that are in their 20s, early 20s that can't keep up with his offseason workouts, and there's a reason why he's as good as he is he takes his talent, but he utilizes all of his downtime in the right way. So hats off to King Henry. Mind you, he did kind of cost Baltimore that game with that fumble.
That was a big
but
bit of an asterisk. But I mean, like the damn offense put up 40 points.
Well, that's exactly
right.
Well, exactly.
You can't
14 points for him. So like you can't fault him for one.
Mm-hmm.
The defense needs to step up a little bit in that. But yeah, it was that. Yeah, King Henry's incredible. We love him. He's going to go down in the Hall of Fame for very good reasons.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's a lock, I think.
Yeah.
Who are some of your surprises, game-wise, player-wise?
There was a lot. Well, obviously, we talked with Danny Dimes. That was one of the big ones. I saw a little big surprise for me, ETN, and I have to eat my words here because all off season in the original podcast or in the early episodes, I was saying that I think Bigsby is going to be taking over the starter.
You did talk shit about him.
Bigsby's gone to Philadelphia now, and he's going to be
to return punts. Sounds like in kicks.
So I owed it. I messed that one up. I dropped the ball.
A bit of a whiff there.
Bit of a whiff. The other one that I had a really strong feeling about him, and I know you want to talk about him too, but Bill Krosky is a legend. I think he's unreal. I think he's such a good late pick, and he's going to win people their leagues, especially teams that don't have running backs or teams that can use other running backs now as trade bait. So,
sure. I mean, even... we talked about it last week where we just said that, a good bet was him for 50 yards.
Yeah.
And he damn near did it in one play, which is what we said would happen.
Yeah, exactly.
But even his touchdown is on a cut.
Yeah.
Again, that's exactly one of the other things we spoke about is how this the rumblings coming out of camp is that his cut ability is out of this world. Yeah. And on his touchdown, it did kind of look Le'Veon Bell-esque.
Oh, it did. And he has some strength to him. Like, I think he's going to be good. He's a phenomenal player. I think he's a great pickup. I think getting rid of Brian Robinson Jr., sending him off, I think it was the right play because he's their guy now. Like, Eckler's still going to be getting a lot of the passing downs and stuff like that, but Krosky Merritt is one to be looking out for. If he's not drafted in anyone's league that's watching, well, yeah, you might want to get on that trade block. He's going to be good. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Another big two that surprised me, and I think this kind of surprised everyone. One of the only overs this week, Fields and Rodgers. I think they both put on a show this week.
It was an amazing game. It was the best game of the morning for sure.
Yeah.
And I got to give you your flowers because you've been kind of raving about Fields, saying he's been underrated all season. That's about as good of a game as I've ever seen him play.
Yeah. He looks dialed. He looks in it.
And that was a home game in New York, and it seemed like they had him, like the crowd at his back. They were excited. I'm happy for the Jets. I've kind of had a soft spot for those guys just because they've just been pee-pee poo-poo for the last 25 years.
Exactly. They've been struggling. I like him. I've also Breece Hall put up good numbers as well. And those are the two.
Breece look good.
I had a small, like I said, it's only week one. We don't know what some of the stuff that happened in week one, the entire switch could flip. Or script could flip for the rest of the season. We don't know. Week one is such an anomaly week. It's kind of what it's there for. It's to keep everyone guessing. But I just have such strong feeling for both those guys. I think they're both going to do well this year.
Yeah. I want whatever drugs Rodgers took this offseason to throw 4 touchdowns in the first opening week and squeak a win out there and on the road on his first game. Pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet. Unreal. Other ones. I thought Penix.
I think a big notable.
Oh, go ahead.
Penix looked good.
Penix looked good.
Yeah.
I thought that
composed.
He looked composed. I think he did his job well as a rookie. I know they didn't win that game. I'm gonna discredit Young Hoku for the fact that Jake Moody got let go. I think it was today or yesterday. but Young Ho
it's no
still has a
surprise
job.
there.
Yeah, but Young Ho's, this has been kind of his thing. He does really good or really bad, and the fact that he almost missed two, like one went off the uprights and went in. It's a scary thing for that being your, like, when you're a kicker for the NFL, you're kind of like that guy that's, you're either just there to get those extra points or you're there to win the game or tie the game. And I don't think Young Ho is that guy. So
yeah, we'll see, I guess. But like you said, it could be any game. He just bounces back and then we're all back on the Young Ho Koo train again. So
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, another like one of the games I think that is probably the talk of the town. Finishing off the week on Monday night, Chicago and Minnesota.
Yep.
First half appeared that it was going to be a big snoozer, possibly one of the worst games of the week. It turned out to be one of the best ones.
The last quarter was good. That was
the last quarter is fantastic. I found it so interesting how Caleb Williams and McCarthy basically switched roles each half.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we had first half, Caleb Williams looked sharp. That kid's got a ton of horsepower.
His first 10 plays, he was 10 for 10 or not first 10 plays, but his first 10 passes were 10 for 10. Then he went on a 3-pass slump, and that was kind of the turmoil for him.
Yeah, well, first half he's getting rid of the ball. That was a big problem. And last year he's held on too long. Ball was coming out. He was making throws from the pocket. He made a couple athletic plays with his feet and a couple great throws. The Romo Dunze on the side was one of the best throws of the whole week for sure.
If we're going to talk about good ones, though, we also have to talk about him absolutely horrendously missing DJ Moore for the wide open touchdown. I think it was in the third.
Yeah. That changes the whole game, I think.
Yeah.
Because there was momentum coming from Minnesota at that point.
Yeah.
And then, McCarthy, a lot of people were kind of looking at this kid going, I think they missed. I think it's a miss. And then second half, the kid comes out. He looks incredibly composed, calms down, gains some confidence, and puts on a hell of a show. I thought he looked really good in the second half. I thought he looked really good in the second. Particularly, but
yeah,
that fourth quarter to come back on the road, against a division rival and make the plays he did. It wasn't like he was really getting carried there. He made plays.
Yeah, exactly. It was a full team effort, but he was making plays and he was making it happen.
Yeah, while Chicago started crumbling too, right? So, really excited to see more of him. I think the last kind of rookie I want to talk about that came out and did exactly what we said we thought he was going to do was Emeka Mbuka.
Oh yeah,
this is our star
4
this
targets,
year. This is our
2
star
touchdowns.
Rookie. Right off the hop, this is the candidate for offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah. Oh, I agree 100%. And I think the thing that I'm not concerned about, but I think I don't think the defenses have any other option is they're going to continue to have the 2 coverage on Evans. So Ibuka, I'm not concerned about this. Sorry. Well, I don't think they can't not, like, they have to double cover one of them, but one of them is going to keep getting open.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. So I think that even though,
and then what the hell are you going to do when Godwin comes back? Right?
Exactly. I think Baker didn't play the greatest. I won't lie there, but Egbuka really helped out that team. They made that win happen.
Big things I noticed about him in his college film. Yeah, like big things I noticed about him in his film from college was that his ability to catch in traffic and catch at full speed. And both of his touchdowns were like that, especially his second one. Yeah. Was like in traffic, made a battle and completes the play. So if they're gonna go back to this kid, look for it to happen more and more as the season goes along when they know possibly Evans is going to be getting double covered at points, and this kid's going to slip open. He's super fast too.
He is super fast. He's got a good hand. Like he's the whole package of what you want. So I think that he's going to be a star in the NFL. Another big point that I wanted to bring up here was, well, not big point, but just, did you see Isaac Tesla's catch?
Yeah, that was the catch of the year.
It's a candidate right now for sure.
I don't know if you're going to beat that this year.
It was incredible. I've been hyping him up after watching him play. I wasn't really on the Isaac Tesla train until preseason, and once he gets caught up a little bit more and his reps get there, like he is going to be a weapon for Detroit. And having him, Amon-Ra and Gibbs, that like they could have a whole new playbook coming their way with Williams as well. Like it's
sure, yeah.
Okay, so we talked about some of the good. Let's talk about a little bit some of the bad. Who looked bad this week?
Well, I think that everybody, in particularly fantasy, is going to be talking about the dud that Jamar Chase put up.
Jamar Chase and
Joe
Burrow,
right?
Yeah,
They squeak out a win though. But
they shouldn't have won that game.
No, they shouldn't have.
Lucky.
I think it's a lot of credit to Cleveland's defense. Cleveland's defense looked scary.
Yeah,
that was. I mean, Garrett's still. I think he's about as good as they get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree. I think that was one that they kind of stole, they snuck away with. But yeah, I think that there's a lot of players that probably didn't perform that we wanted to.
Oh, exactly.
I don't think it's panic button time.
Oh,
unless your name's Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
personally,
and it's week, like we keep saying, it's week 1. Do not panic about anything. Do not get overzealous. Do not start reaching for players. Do not start selling away your team for that one guy that did incredible. It's week 1. You'll start to have answers by week 4. That's when you'll start to really see the season round out as to what's going to happen. Week 4 to 6, that's when stuff starts to happen. But again, talking about other bad players, Purdy looked bad. Drake May looked bad. Russ looked terrible.
Yeah, Russ looked a little just didn't look like himself. I mean, I don't think that New York is going to quite hit that axe on his head yet. I think they're gonna be talking just like we are. It's week 1. His new team, new system. Like, just give him a little bit of time. Yeah. Right. But I mean, we can all agree that continues. We're gonna see Jackson Dart starting this year. I think
Jackson. Yeah. If he has 1 or 2 more bad games like that, Dart's starting. I don't 100%. See it backing. I don't see it lasting. If he has 2 more bad games, Dart's going to be there in week 4.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so that's Keon Coleman surprised me. I will say that. Keon Coleman was he looked good. He looked like he did some good offseason stuff.
Yeah. I think that they're calling him the number 1 receiver now, but I don't know if that's necessarily true. It's still Shakir on the depth chart, but that was a game that I think anybody could explode any second. So great game from him nonetheless, but one to not overreact about. I think this happens a lot in week 1.
Exactly.
One that I don't think is an overreaction, even by the slightest stretch, is the Chargers, what they did, and Herbert.
Yeah.
Herbert looked
like Herbert again. Like he was the reason why he was incredible he pulled his old self back. He has so many weapons now.
Yeah, on a shitty field too in Brazil, does the slide and flexes his muscles to finish the game off. Oh, that was sweet.
Yeah. No, Herbert looked great. They have a lot of talent on that team there. It's going to be fun. I think the LA Chargers are a little bit of an underdog. I wouldn't have said that before the season started, but now after seeing it and seeing them actually utilizing their offense properly, they look good.
Yeah, against KC too. I mean, I think you and I both kind of agreed that we thought that Philly was going to blow out Dallas. Obviously, they didn't blow them out. They did win, but didn't cover the spread. But I do think that those numbers may have changed if our best defensive player was on the field, if he didn't spit on the dude before the first snap of the game.
Well, exactly. But they came out with news today that he did get fined. They're counting that as his 1-game suspension, him getting ejected. So he will be able to play next week. But I did see footage of Dak spitting on him first. So that's a little bit...
did he spit on him, or did he just spit in his direction and knew that that's a big problem though for Eagles fans? I mean, I think that guy got a good pee-pee slap this week, because I mean, if all these other teams know that all you need to do is look in his direction and spit at the ground, and you can get him out of the game because he's going to lose his cool, that's not good. I expect him to have a big bounce back. That won't continue. I don't think that his teammates will let him, without any accountability on that. I'm sure he takes it. I'm sure he regrets it, but I don't think that that's something that's going to continue. But I would be certain that people are going to try.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah. 100%.
So he's got to keep his cool if we want to keep that. But, if we have that guy in there, Dallas ran the ball really well against Philly.
Yeah. Williams is a big surprise this week.
Big time. But I mean, like I said, how much that changed with our best guy? Because they have to scheme for him. Prescott even said that they had been practicing all week against the idea that we're going to be having to double team this guy, scheming to get away from him, and all of a sudden this guy's out, and then it's a free for all. So, either way, happy they won. That would have been really bad to lose that one, especially if at home and stuff. So.
Oh, exactly. And I just didn't want Jerry Jones to have that I told you moment with Mika, because as we saw in the Green Bay game, Green Bay dominated against Detroit. Dominated. I know, like, Mika, I don't know how many sacks he got. I only saw the one, but he was still...
But it was one of the best sacks. It was probably the best sack of the whole week.
Yeah, and he was still a difference maker.
Pursued him.
He was a difference maker, right?
Yeah.
So, like,
immediate.
That's the big... Yeah, no,
but
Green Bay was scary.
Green Bay's defense in general, not just Parsons, but in general, were flying around the field.
Oh, yeah.
They were all over the place. It was, in my opinion, one of those holy shit moments I think that could be one of the Super Bowl contending teams this year.
Yeah, they're scary. They are terrifying.
They're scary. Yeah.
And on top of Green Bay, Josh Jacobs, now 9 consecutive games with a touchdown.
Pretty sexy.
Their running game's looking good. The throwing game's looking good. Jordan Love's looking healthy again. Their defense looks incredible. Like, how could you not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah. So, I mean, overall, like, through the week, it was a very exciting week. Lots of storylines to watch moving forward. Lots of surprises, obviously. I'm very excited to kind of see this next week coming up here, because there's a lot on the line as far as these up and coming guys and these breakout teams. Is this for real, or is this a fluke in week one? We're going to find out, but I think
we're going to start getting answers.
Yeah. I think Green Bay is one of those people, like, that's not a fluke. I think we're going to see this all season. That's a 10-12 win team for sure. Maybe more, who knows? But yeah, I mean, like, I thought Cam Ward looked amazing too. Like, yes, he didn't have the greatest numbers, but as far as some of the throws that he made, there was throws that they haven't had a quarterback been able to make in quite a while.
Exactly.
So I have nothing but high expectations for him.
Oh, exactly. I think they did well.
Just more work, more practice, more work, more experience. I think Tennessee's in good hands with him.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. And they played Denver, and Denver, actually, there's another team that did not play. Their offense, anyways, did not play as expected. I don't think Bo Nix showed up. I'm not believing in them, but it's just they have to iron out the offseason BS that happens.
Yep.
So
yep, I think they will. I'm not overreacting about that one at all. But
nope, neither am I. All right, so I know you've been itching to talk about this. I'm going to start it off here, though, because I know you have something you want to say that I don't want to hear. So let's talk a little bit about fantasy. The first thing that I wanted to bring up is we've had a couple people, and I know this has worked for you as well already in fantasy. In my league, I have to shout out my buddy Connor. He kicked my ass with the Henry and Lamar Jackson combo. I think it was 60 points between the two of them, and I've been
abusing that strategy. Yeah. It's a great strategy.
It's a great strategy this year.
I've got a league with Henry and Jackson. Absolutely smoked the competition in that one, and then I've got another league where I've got Saquon and Hurts, and smoked my guy in that league too. Cooked them. It was great.
Yeah, I think it's a great strategy. I'm happy people are using it. I'm mad that every time that I tried in any of my drafts, it didn't work out in my favor. But, here we are. You adjust, you adapt, and you make things work. But yeah, Connor, love you, but hate you at the same time. Congratulations, buddy. And this is the segue to what you want to say.
I was going to say, speaking of cooking, we cooked Mike Young this week in week 1. Woo! It was awesome. So we had a tight matchup. I mean, in that league, Mike's got, Kyler Murray, Bucky Irving, Chase Brown, Neighbors, McMillan, Engram.
Do you have it on your screen?
Yes, I do. We can pull it up if you'd like. Yeah, so I'm on the left here. Mike's on the right. Mike still put up a decent week, 97, but just wasn't good enough for the King. So
the King.
Yes, the King.
God.
Jahmyr Gibbs. Serviceable day. Caleb Johnson -2. Ooh, stinker for sure. We're going to have to monitor that moving forward. McConkey, total faith in this guy. 6 receptions for 74 yards. Harrison coming out and having a good day. 71 for a TD, 5 receptions. Warren, fantastic rookie debut. Devontae Adams, not even that bad. 4 receptions, 51 yards. I'll take that in my flex. And I mean, I even had McCarthy on the bench here. Krosky Merritt on the bench. and Mbuka on the bench, right? So this could have been a lot uglier. I could have really, really broke Mike's spirits in the world of fantasy.
Weren't a smart enough manager to play those players, and it's okay. It happens, right?
Yep. So no, we're going to be better moving forward, no doubt. So, but no, you're still got a good looking team over there. I mean, I really like your Neighbors McMillan combo there. I love Chase Brown this year. And even on your bench, Charbonnet is kind of a good pick for you. It's looking like right now. I'm not hitting the panic button. There's a lot of people saying it's Charbo number 1 right now. I'm not believing in that quite yet.
I'm believing in it. I'm calling it now.
Yeah, so we'll have to monitor that moving forward for us, because I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see. I think it's still a slight overreaction. I just think Charbo is it's a really good number 2. But does this backfield possibly end up looking like something Minnesota's rocking right now with Mason and Jones? I think so. That was pretty dead split. And they're both producing. Like, both backs look good on Minnesota. So I'm expecting something more like that.
It might be something similar to that. I think Charbo's going to be the number 1, but I do think that Walker's going to be getting a lot of reps. So, like, I'm not saying it's going to be clear number 1, but I think Charbo's going to be the number 1. For Minnesota's backfield, it was interesting how much they were kind of using Jones as a receiver and Mason as a running back.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's kind of the strategy that they were doing, and it was working for them. Like, Jones' touchdown was incredible.
Yeah, the wheel route. Yeah. No, and he's been doing that for years.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So nothing surprising there. He's got a rookie with a short pass check down. I like it. I that's a great scheme they've got going on over there. And Mason last year proved everyone that's he's got RB1 capabilities.
Yeah.
When McCaffrey went out, but I like that they've got a kind of two-headed monster there, right? They got a great catch passing back, my God, and with lots of experience, and then Mason with a bit more explosiveness and a bit more of an uphill runner. That's fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so it's been an interesting week. Obviously, with Mason and everything like that, I think Minnesota is looking just fine. I don't see it being an issue. I think it's a great little combo they have going there, so that's great news. Another thing that I kind of wanted to talk about this week was the game delays and what kind of impact they have on games that happen. So what are some of your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so which games? It was Carolina had one, right?
Carolina and Jacksonville, and obviously Philly and Dallas. And the thing that I wanted to bring up with that was that both those games, after the game delay, and I think the Carolina one was bad. It was like 90 minutes. But actually the Dallas one might have been Dallas and Philly one might have been close to that too, closer to half an hour to an hour type thing. But
it was roughly that, I remember.
Yeah, but both offenses were not performing after the rain delay. It was an all defensive game.
Yeah, I know. And so one of the biggest points I will make about delays like this is it's an absolute momentum killer. We saw complete evidence of this years ago when San Francisco played Baltimore in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And there was a massive power outage. Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. However, I do think that something fishy was happening there, because all that momentum that was being built by, I believe it was San Fran, just got killed.
100%.
Was it San Fran or was it Baltimore that had the lead? And then once that power outage finished up and they cleaned up, the other team made a comeback.
Yeah.
And almost made it. I think it actually, Baltimore was in the lead, and then San Fran began coming back, but fell short.
You might be right. I don't exactly remember what happened with it, but it was.
Gonna look it up.
Yeah, let's get some details on it. But exactly, It is a momentum killer. That's exactly what it is. It's like every emotion that you experience getting up to that point in the game, and then it just kind of gets ripped away from you, and you have to go twiddle your thumbs in the locker room. Like, it's so hard to come back from that. Yeah, so Baltimore won.
So I did find it, and so Baltimore won 31 or 34-31.
Yeah.
At one point here, it looks like in the second quarter they were up 21-3.
Yeah.
San Francisco hit a field goal with no time left on the clock to go 21-6. Baltimore goes up to 28-6 right out the hop. and then it just went all. This is where the delay happened. Yeah. I remember this now.
That's where the delay happened.
So it was in the third quarter, and then touchdown, touchdown San Fran, extra point, and then a field goal, and then another touchdown. Baltimore skips across a couple field goals, and then So that was the one that I always remember being an actual major significant difference. I think it does matter. Like, I mean, I don't know if it would be worse for a morning or a night game. I feel like the morning game having a delay might be worse. And I think the reason being is because it's like the engine's revved up first thing in the morning. We're getting going. It's like exciting week one of ball. And then all of a sudden you got this major delay. I think they mentioned on Thursday night game there that once the delay ends, you get 12 minutes of warm up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
15 minutes. I mean,
15 is something like that. And that exactly. So, you know, it's like from a mental standpoint, like a lot of these guys have pretty serious rituals. As far as like getting prepared mentally and stuff. So, you know, redoing that just puts a real kink in the system kind of. So, they definitely affect games and betting for sure, which is, again, I think one of the reasons that I've always had a crazy theory that this power outage that happened in that Super Bowl was not an accident. I think somebody had money on San Francisco.
Yeah. Hey, you know, where's your hat?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That'll be my tinfoil hat segment for the day.
Yeah, there we go. Loonie bin. Okay, well, I think we should talk a little bit about this week's betting. I need to make my comeback here, so I need to make my predictions against it here, and hopefully I do better than you this week. So I guess we will start it off with the Thursday night game. We got Washington at Green Bay, and as of Tuesday, September 9th, the spread is minus 3.5 Green Bay. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Green Bay just impressed me way too much in the first game of the season to not take them on both ends of that. I think that team looks super scary. There's nothing else I can say about them, but really, I just think that Green Bay is the full package. I still think the Commanders are a great team. Commanders are also like a full deal package, good on both sides of the ball, weapons all over the place, but Green Bay looked to kind of have a bit of an it factor that day. And that's some crazy momentum going into a week two. And then now everybody's going to be watching Parsons. Now we're going to see more snaps from Parsons. I think Parsons only played 55% of the snaps or something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he played every down, but as we move forward, that number is going to get higher and higher and higher, and he's going to be a bigger impact on the game.
I think so too. And also it just looked like Green Bay was like a week 6 team. In their first week, they looked like a team that has been ready to go, raring to go.
I agree. They did look the most polished out of any team for sure.
They didn't look like they had the offseason slump that a lot of these teams do. So I'm agreeing.
Both sides of the ball were firing.
I got Green Bay against the spread and Green Bay on the money line. Okay, moving on. We got LA Rams at Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
LA Rams is minus 5.5.
So I've got Tennessee in this one, pulling out an upset. At home, Cam Ward now has a game under his belt, got a bit of the shakes out. I mean, we kind of saw, you know, these quarterbacks have different, rhythm as far as getting in, comfortable and getting some confidence. I got Tennessee taking this one and surprising LA. Spreads minus 5.5. I got Tennessee on both of them.
Yep. Perfect. Makes sense. I'm going to have to disagree with you there. I think the LA Rams are just such a much more established team. And in week 2 in the early parts where you have a rookie quarterback, plus they're still trying to shake off the offseason. I just think that LA Rams are a little bit more well-equipped to handle this matchup. Later in the season, I might say differently, but as of right now, I'm going with LA Rams against the spread and the money line. Moving on, we got Seattle at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh minus 2.5.
Yeah, no, I'm going with the favorites in this one. I'm taking Pittsburgh to cover the spread as well at 2.5. I think Pittsburgh goes into their first home game of the season with a ton of juice. I think that crowd's going to be rocking that day. After seeing Rodgers come off of 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a crazy win, over at MetLife Stadium. So I see Pittsburgh. That's again going back to confidence. I think that's a huge factor in these early season matchups. And I think Pittsburgh's got it right now.
I think so too. I'm taking Pittsburgh. I was leaning towards Seattle at one point. If the spread was any bigger than minus 2.5, I probably would have taken Seattle. I think it's going to be a 3-point game against the spread. But I do, like you said, I just that high that Rodgers has, that whatever drugs he's taking in the offseason, I want some.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that Pittsburgh takes it against the spread and money line.
If we do find these drugs, we will be sure to have a Loonie lineup segment on this.
Yeah, exactly. It's something different than smelling salts, let me tell you.
Yeah, most certainly.
Okay,
what's next up here?
Buffalo at New York Jets. Buffalo minus 6.5.
Yep, I got Buffalo taking both ends of that and covering at 6.5. Jets were super impressive. Obviously, put up big numbers offensively, but I think the MVP of football's on the other side there, and has a lot to show still. I think that this is going to be an all-season thing with Josh Allen.
Oh yeah,
we're just going to see the guy doing what he does. They are incredibly reliant on him, but my God, is he something special?
Yeah, I agree. I think that Buffalo is definitely going to win the game. I think especially what they did against Baltimore the other day. That was the other night. That was an incredible 15 points in 4 minutes. That's just,
yeah, that was so fun.
Right. Like you can't, that's just something that you can't argue against. I will say though that this is a divisional game, and I think that New York Jets will stay a little bit closer than what we expect. So I took New York Jets against the spread.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. We got Chicago, Detroit, another divisional game. Detroit minus 5.5.
So this one I have a split in, actually. So I have Detroit with a bounce back game. There was a little bit of concern about Detroit after seeing that first game. No Ben Johnson, looked a little unorganized. I do got a bounce back game from them at home. I think Chicago plays hard because of what happened last game. I hope it didn't take too much wind out of their sails, because there was a lot of promise there in the first half. But I do have Chicago covering the 5.5 points. So I anticipate a close game here.
Yeah. No, I agree. I've been bouncing back and forth against the spread on that one, but I just think that it's going to be a fun game, especially with Ben Johnson being on the other side. I think this is going to be a fun little rivalry. I don't know what's exactly going to happen, but I do think that if Detroit didn't lose as bad as they did in week 1, I'd have the same bets as you, but I think Detroit is so hungry right now because they haven't won a single preseason game, which doesn't really matter, but it matters to Dan Campbell. And they got blown out in week 1. I think they're going to come out of the gates swinging, and it's not going to be pretty. I even might say Gibbs might even get 2 touchdowns that game. Okay, moving on. We got New York Giants at Dallas. Dallas minus 5.5.
So I went with the dogs in this one on the road. I think Giants have a bounce back. I know they didn't look very pretty week 1. I do got them covering and the money line. I just expect a little bit more. I don't think you can get, any last week was pretty shaky. I also think that there was a bit of a, serious matchup with Philadelphia and Dallas last week. Super big rivalry. Both guys play a little harder kind of thing. It's still a division game, but it's not the same rivalry. So I think New York kind of gets some pieces together here this week.
Yeah, no, that's fair. If Russ is starting, I have zero faith in them. So
yeah, and that's fair.
Yeah, so I'm taking Dallas in the money line, but I am taking New York Jets to cover the spread. Okay, moving on. We got Cleveland at Baltimore. Baltimore at a whopping minus 10.5.
Yeah, and you know what? Actually, now that you say that, even there's some that I'm on a site right now that says they've got Baltimore with 11.5. So, and that's something you'll see for people that are relatively new to betting, is every site will actually sometimes have slightly different odds.
Yep.
That's just the way that booking works. The line will move as the week moves along, depending on where the bets are going. This is the biggest spread of the week, I believe, from what I'm seeing here. Yeah, it is by quite a bit. So I do have Baltimore taking the money line, but I do have Cleveland covering that spread. I think that's huge. Like the spread at 11.5, especially 10.5, may start getting a little bit dicey, because you're talking about we got to get it within, that's where booking becomes an interesting thing, because that 1 point or that half point makes a big difference. But I do think that Cleveland gets within 10 points of these guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Their defense looks so good.
Their defense looks so good. I'm arguing against you here on this one. I think Baltimore is covering the spread and taking the money line. They just, like we just said, they just lost the game in the final 4 minutes. by 15 points, they are going to be putting points on that board consistently. They're not going to be walking away with threes. They're getting touchdowns after touchdowns, and they're not letting any deficit stop them. So I think that Baltimore is going to be coming out really strong in that game, and I don't think they're going to be taking no for an answer. Okay, we got
fantastic.
San Fran at New Orleans. San Fran -4.5.
Yeah, so while we've talked some shit this offseason about New Orleans Saints, right? But I don't think they had a terrible game last week, but I need to see more evidence of, some spark there before I even think about putting money on those guys. So I got San Fran on both sides there. Make it pretty simple. They're on the road, but again, just simply a better roster.
Yeah, I think that even with all the injuries that they've had, and actually a big point to bring up here, George Kittle went to the IR out for 4 weeks, so that's something to pay attention to. However, New Orleans did surprise me a little bit. I think that Arizona played abysmally. I didn't think they played good. I think that played in New Orleans' favor a little bit. So I'm still very curious to see. New Orleans is a big question mark for me, but I still don't think they look good, even with how bad Arizona played. So I'm San Fran across the board on that one.
Next up, we
got New England at Miami. Miami -1.5.
So tight spread here for, this is a rivalry matchup. New England and Miami have been going at each other's throats for quite a long time. Spread's only 1.5 according to the scores odds. So they're anticipating this be pretty darn close. I guess one point to make just before we get too far ahead is a couple of the spreads last week that were 1.5 or 2 did end up, in fact, being incredibly close.
The couple of them we lost on because it was...
We did. Yep.
A 1.5 spread. The Baltimore Buffalo game lost.
Baltimore Buffalo was like razor tight too.
Yeah, that one was 1.5. That was the only 1.5 one that happened. But
what about the Jets and Pittsburgh? That one, I remember the odds being super tight.
-2.5.
Okay, so it was so close.
Yeah.
So that could have been a cover, right? Or close, but I mean, it is wild to see. But yeah, I didn't want to digress too much there, but that just wanted to make that point that they were the odds makers. Even though they whiff some, they're pretty close sometimes. It's scary.
Oh, exactly. It's wild.
But New England, Miami, the odds being where they are, even though Miami's at home, I don't see any reason why you give these guys the favorite. I just don't. They look just terrible. New England, they didn't look great either, but they didn't look that bad.
Miami looked bad.
Not much to overthink for me on this one. It's I'm taking the dogs on both ends of this.
Yeah, agreed. That one's easy for me. There's nothing really more to be said about that. They're just Miami looked bad.
Yeah.
Okay, we got Jacksonville at Cincinnati. Cincinnati -3.5.
Yep, I'm going to take Cincinnati on both on this one. I think Joe Burrow comes out and has his party.
Yeah,
his start of the season party. He didn't have it last week. We know it's coming. I think against Jacksonville, I could totally see that being the day it does.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. I think Travis Hunter's going to be playing a lot more defense this game.
Yeah, possibly.
But when it comes to this game, I think that even with all the things that Joe Burrow did in the during the preseason, wanted to play and everything like that, I think that Cincinnati's due for a big game. I see a lot of Jamar Chase and I see a lot of Burrow points coming up. Okay, moving on. We got Carolina at Arizona. Arizona's -6.5.
Yeah, so this one is one of those games I would never want to bet on. There's just too many traps with it. So the spread's 6.5 for Arizona as the favorite at home. I am going to kind of swing in a weird direction here. I am going to take Carolina on this one for both, obviously.
Yep.
I just think that we're going to get possibly one of those games that we've seen at the end of the season last year from Bryce Young, a little bit more comfortable spot for Ted McMillan now that he's got a game under his belt. Last week we said Ted McMillan for 7 targets was a great bet. He actually had 9 targets, but he only had 5 catches. So it was the right bet. It made sense. It was close and the targets were there, but I think that next week we just see better Carolina.
Yeah, I think so too. And that Carolina game, like we said, was one of the weather-impacted games. So Carolina is going to be a little bit sneaky on this one. But I will say on the other side of this is Kyler was sick last week, so he wasn't playing at his 100%. So I'm very curious to see if I think Arizona's kind of one of those sneaky teams this year. I think they have the weapons that they need, and I think they're going to be pretty good. But I also said that about Carolina, and I think the last episode. So this one's going to be fun for me. I think Arizona's going to take it, but I do see Carolina covering the spread.
Yeah, until the next Call of Duty comes out, Kyler Murray is just so much better when that stuff's out. I think he's just a little more relaxed. So
yeah,
no
exactly.
Call of Duty's coming out this month. So
yeah, I think he's fine there. It's going to be the battle of the tiny quarterbacks, and I'm here for it.
Yep.
Okay, moving on. We got Denver at Indianapolis. Denver is a -1.5.
Yeah, so while Indy impressed me last week, they were not playing against the Denver Broncos defense. Spread's only 1.5 on this one, which is a little surprising to me. I think that they're getting a bit more love based on their performance. Their Denver Broncos are a completely different beast. I've got Denver taking both.
Yeah, I honestly, for this one here, I internally battled this one. When I first wrote my picks, I had Denver for both. But I rewatched a lot of Denver's game, and Denver looked bad. Denver did not look good. Yeah. So if I'm going off of what teams looked like and the evidence that I have to ride with my boys here, and I'm going Indy on both.
Yeah, and that's fair. I get it. I always just I'm a big Sean Payton believer. I think he rights the ship this week.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I could eat my words with this one. I'm kind of expecting to eat my words, but I just, just based off of, like I said, what I saw in both games, I have to go with who's going strong right now, and I'm hoping for an Indy upset here. Okay, moving on to your boys. We got Philly at KC. Philly -1.5.
Philly taking both on these ones. Yeah. The Super Bowl rematch, I think we just come out hard. Denver Chargers took down Chiefs week 1. They looked great, obviously. I think Philly's going into KC on this one, so they're on the road. It's only a 1.5 point spread according to the score. But I still got Philly taking this one.
I got Philly, definitely. Like I said in the last episode, I think this is Casey's downfall. If Tyreek Hill gets there, then I'm redacting that statement and we'll figure out a new thing. But as of right now, KC just doesn't have what they need to be that team that they once upon a time were. Also, with all that traveling that they just did, I think they're going to be tired. Their schedule is going to be all messed up. That's a big adjustment for a lot of teams traveling from Brazil back to America to play. That's a big thing. So I think that Philly walks all over KC on this one.
Okay.
Sunday night game, we got Atlanta at Minnesota, and I am pumped for this game. I think these two rookies are going to put on a show. I know,
like young quarterbacks, we'll call them. Yeah. But back-to-back primetime games to start your career for JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
That's, a Monday nighter and then go right to the Sunday nighter. I anticipate him looking a lot more comfortable in the first half and not having those jitters. Minnesota looks like a pretty darn good complete team once they got the engines going. I like Atlanta. I do like Atlanta a lot. The spread's 4.5. So I thought about taking Atlanta to cover, thinking it would be a close game, but I did kind of ended up sneaking out with just Minnesota on both of those. Really, this bet for me boils down to McCarthy's going into his second game, and this is his second experience in prime time. I think you get the nerves out. It's time to get going here. So.
All right, yeah, and I'm going the other way. Even though Drake London's injured, I think Atlanta has so many weapons on offense here. This might be Kyle Pitts' game. I'm going Atlanta for both. I think both teams are good. I think Michael Penix played a more complete game than JJ McCarthy did.
I would agree.
And he looked a little bit more well-rounded. I know one player doesn't make a game, but I just think with the weapons that are around him as well, I see Atlanta winning this one. Plus, they're a little bit pissed off about that loss, considering that they could have gone to overtime if Young Ho hit that kick. So I think Atlanta comes back wanting some revenge here. So I'm taking Atlanta against spread and the money line. Okay,
and 2 Monday nighters this week.
2 Monday nighters. This is an interesting one. It's fun. It's the early season. They have to find a way to fit all the schedules in before all the bye weeks happen. So, 2 Monday nighters. Up first, we got Tampa Bay at Houston. Houston, this one kind of surprised me. He's at -2.5.
Surprised me a bit too. I do have Tampa Bay on both ends. Houston had a bit of ups and downs last game, but still missing their starting running back, still missing, or down a receiver with Diggs being gone now and Tank Dell being on the reserve for probably the remainder of the season. I don't know. I just feel like Tampa Bay is just a bit more gritty.
They're more gritty
and dominate.
And I think I don't think Baker played well last game. I think he played all right, but
I love Baker Mayfield, but I agree with you.
Yeah. So I think, I just don't think Houston has enough to defend against Tampa's offense. It might be a decent, it might be a little bit of a battle of the offense in this game.
And this could be totally one CJ Stroud steals the show and all of a sudden surprises everybody.
Which CJ Stroud does, so.
He could do that. So, again, one of the ones I wouldn't necessarily want to touch. We may, like Mike said, we may eat our words on a few of these. But, yeah, I took Tampa Bay on both. I think I'm a Mika Mbuka's #1 fan this year, so I'm going to be rooting for him, too.
I might fight you for that one, so.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Last game of the week. We got the late game on Monday. LA Chargers versus Las Vegas. LA Chargers -3.5.
Okay, so Vegas at home here. I got Chargers on both.
That was an
incredibly impressive performance against KC to start the season. In Brazil, on a bad field. Herbert, that's about as good as you can look at quarterback, in my opinion. I got him beating the Vegas Raiders, but could be a fun one though.
I think it's going to be a fun game.
Over-under is pretty high on it. Over-unders is 46.5 points. So they're saying there's going to be some points out there.
Yeah, I definitely think there's going to be points.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of points, do you have, so because we're recording on a Tuesday, a lot of odds aren't out, so we're not going into the nitty-gritty of some of the parlays and bets, but any touchdowns, anything that you want to predict is going to happen this week before we cap out the show?
Sure, yeah. Well, I guess kind of just going back, a couple of ones that I did last week that I thought were really, really good bets was Saquon anytime TD to just double your money. That was pretty easy. He hit it. I did suggest that, if you wanted to gamble more, you could go for the 2. That didn't obviously happen. But the anytime TD, safe way to double your money. And then JCM, my boy Bill, I said to get over 50 yards. He did. So I like JCM to maybe get another 50-yard game. The odds are going to be a lot different this week on JCM. So caution with that. Don't be looking at these. I'm not saying he's going to get a 100-yard game next week, but I think he has another good game with some yards. Ashton Genty, I see him scoring in that game against LA. Yep. So another anytime TD that I called last week, which happened. I think Genty can score again, no problem. And then this one, I think Tet McMillan's going to score this week. I know I've been kind of raving about this kid and saying, last week the bet that we had for him was the 7 receptions. He had 9 targets and 5 receptions. But that is, for your first NFL game to get 9 targets, that's a sign that he's their dude, I think.
Yeah.
And, so like Carolina's got Arizona this week in the game that they're not favored in. I could see a lot of throwing happening. Tet McMillan for an anytime TD could be a good one this week.
I like that one too. I like Tet McMillan getting a touchdown for sure. A couple other ones that I want to throw in there. A couple of mine that hit last week. I think James Conner's going to score again this week. So I'm riding that train hard. For anyone that went with the Bijan Robinson 30+ yards or more, well, you pretty much hit your bets if you went with Bijan Robinson with any receiving yards. He had 100 receiving yards and only 24 rushing. So I'm gonna copy that again. Go with Bijan for 30+ yards. I think I'd be dumb not to take Henry for a touchdown, so that one's getting in there. I think Gibbs is getting in there at least twice.
Okay.
That's my big one, but the one I say proceed with caution with that one because I think that Montgomery might steal some of the end zone touches on that game. I think he was at like a 37% split compared to last year's. I don't even remember. It was like 45, 44. So I think that I think that Gibbs takes it, but Montgomery still might get some touches in this game.
Sure. I do have one more that I would like to talk about. And again, the odds haven't come out updated yet that I've seen. But I've kind of become a fan of betting on the division winners. Yep. Obviously there's always ones that stick out every year that are the obvious ones. It seems like, well, KC's been the favorite every year for the last 6 years or something like that. Yeah. But one that might stick out, and we talked about him a lot this episode already, but Green Bay Packers winning that division
And that's a bold one because that's a tough division.
It's very bold. It's a tough division because Detroit's in there.
Detroit, Minnesota, Chicago.
Prior to the season, it was the Detroit show favored all day long. After seeing what happened on Sunday, I could see this, that line shifting a little bit, and maybe Green Bay's odds aren't as good. But I could see that as this season progresses, and if Green Bay does end up pulling away in that division, it gets, the Lions, I'm not counting these guys out, but this could be the cheapest you could get Green Bay to win the division this week. Is this about as cheap? Other than before the season starts, because if this train rolls the way it's been going, those odds are gonna get worse and worse and worse. And right now, you could get a good payout for what you're gonna put money on. So
yeah, no, I like that. That's a good call. Betting the long ones are kind of fun. They kind of get annoying just hanging out in your account, but they get exciting if it starts to happen. So.
And going back to Mike's strategy, he mentioned that he likes doing. Sometimes there's an early cash out.
Exactly.
That, if it gets close, hey, you know what? Maybe you get a 50% cash out or something like that, and you could say, hey, I just take the money and run instead of, biting your fingernails and, white knuckling your couch watching the last game of the season to determine who's going to win the division, right? So
exactly.
So that's one of Mike's good plays. I always like he does.
Yeah. Couple more that I just want to throw in there that I've kind of liked this week. I think this is Jamar Chase's comeback, so he's getting a touchdown with 50 yards at least. And I also think Mayfield's throwing for 200. So
okay, I like that one.
Yeah, I think Mayfield's throwing for 200. And if you want to put some icing razzle dazzle on that one, you can add in 2+ passing TDs. But hey,
yeah, I think they go hand in hand with him.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. They're very pass heavy offense, so.
Yeah, Baker's got one of the better, mid-range balls, I think, in the league. Like those 30 to 40 yarders. Like he's got lots of stink on the ball, and he's got the receiver talent to break out long runs. So yeah, I like that bet actually. That'd be one I'm gonna look into, I think, too.
Yeah, and then if you're interested in that one, just speaking of high throwing teams with the offense that they played the way that they kind of played last week or are proven to play. Well, if Herbert continues things up, you can also look at the 200 yards and 2 touchdowns for him as well.
Yeah. I think odds on him are going to be drastically different this week just because of how everyone's we're pretty certain that that's what he's going to look like.
Baker's kind of the fun one because he's proven something now. Like he didn't hit it last week, so now he's going to be doing it. So I like that one better than the Herbert one, but those are the ones that I'm just eyeing up until I see the odds. So
great.
Cool. Well, I think that about wraps it up. We've said our 2 cents, and good luck everyone out there with fantasy.
It has been an absolute pleasure to be back this week.
We are
so
back,
nice,
baby. Yes. Yeah. Oh, it feels so great. The season is so young too. I hate it when it's like, don't hate it. Obviously, you love the entire season, but when you're like down to like the end of the season, you're like, oh no, I only have a few more weeks of this. We have all season long. So
just need to relish it because you'll blink and it'll be December. So
Exactly. Well, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, thanks for tuning in. For those of you who have tuned in before, we appreciate and love you. And we will catch you on the next one.